Jeebies.
Chapter 10. The cave walls glowed in a dizzying array of colours. Stalactites clung to the ceiling, and stalagmites thrust up through the rough stone floor. There were even a few stalagrites growing sideways across the caverns, but no stalaglefts anywhere. "Shh!" hissed Silas. "Heebie-jeebies approaching! Everybody, out of the way!" Erica, Sim, Silas and Beastling scrambled easily up the walls. "I knew this was a bad idea," muttered Wade, whose physique lent itself rather more to knocking walls down than climbing up them. He sucked in his huge chest as much as he could, and the heebie-jeebies passed by without noticing him. Wade, Silas and Sim had combined all of their last remaining dream crystal, and Silas was using it to create a cloaking shield which made the group invisible and inaudible. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything about smells. As the heebie-jeebies jostled past, one wrinkled up its nose and grimaced, "Heebie-jeebie!" A speech bubble appeared, showing a bird breathing in a noxious cloud of green gas and then falling off its perch, dead. The heebie-jeebies had a brief but intense argument about who was to blame for the smell. In the end, they all seemed to agree that a small, ragged member of their party with long, tufty ears had been the culprit, and walked away down the corridor. "Who was that?" hissed Silas. "Sorry," muttered Sim, clambering down from the wall. "It just happens when I get nervous. I can't help it." "Well, try," added Wade. "And also, what have you been eating? Rotten eggs and cabbage pie? Seriously, you need to see a doctor when we get back to base." "If we get back to base," said Silas, looking down at a timer on his wrist. "Come on now, focus. We've got 10 minutes of invisibility left to find Madame Hettyforth and get out of here before the dream crystal runs out. Now, Beastling, are you sure they'll be keeping Madame Hettyforth's crystal in the central chamber?" Beastling spun around quickly and swallowed, burping up a small fizzing bubble. "Heebie-jeebie," he replied, slightly defensively, and a map of the caves appeared, showing that they were now very close to a central chamber which held the huge stockpile of dream crystal that fed the entire community. "Okay, great," replied Silas. "Let's keep moving." Before long, Erica was peering into a gargantuan, multicoloured grotto. There were heebie-jeebies everywhere, climbing up the walls, lying in hammocks, swinging from ropes, or just helping themselves to the glittering dream crystal which flowed out of cobbled-together taps. All the pipes led back to a machine in the centre of the room, where there was a vast store of dream crystal. "Look, there!" exclaimed Erica, pointing. "That's Madame Hettyforth's crystal, isn't it?" Her stone looked different now, no longer pulsing with a bright, strong light. It seemed dim and subdued, flickering with a pale, sickly glimmer. "Yeah," replied Silas. "Looks like we're just in time. Her crystal's nearly out of power." "Now, we have a tiny problem. The heebie-jeebies can't see us, but they might notice if Madame Hettyforth's crystal disappears." "I've got an idea," said Erica. "Can we get the taps to push out more dream crystal around the cavern? The heebie-jeebies are so greedy that hopefully they'll be distracted and won't notice what we're doing." "Brilliant," said Silas. "Sim, you go and increase the output of dream crystal while we sneak over to get Mum's crystal." "Should we borrow some more dream crystal ourselves?" asked Erica. "It's too risky," replied Silas. "If one of them feels us brushing up against them, they'll get suspicious. We'll have to make do with what we've got. So, is everyone clear?" They all nodded. Then Sim ran towards the machine in the centre of the room, dodging and weaving through the mass of heebie-jeebies. Once she was there, she pulled a spanner out of her hair and made a few adjustments to the machine. Soon, the taps were spewing out more dream crystal into the cavern than the heebie-jeebies could possibly eat. The furry creatures scrambled around excitedly, all trying to stuff in as much as they could. "Now!" whispered Silas. They ran forward, and Erica and Wade grabbed Madame Hettyforth's crystal while Silas activated her projection. With a jolting flicker, Madame Hettyforth reappeared in the hall. "What the woolly word?" she gasped, falling to her knees. "Shh," whispered Silas. "Save your energy. I'll explain what's happening later." He turned to face Wade. "Can you carry the crystal?" Wade nodded, and soon they were heading back towards the tunnel through which they had arrived. Just look at them, Sim exclaimed as the Heebie-Jeebies scrambled around gobbling up dream crystal from the floor. So greedy. One of the Heebie-Jeebies' ears pricked up. It sniffed at the air suspiciously. What's that one doing? Asked Erica. More and more Heebie-Jeebies were now looking in their general direction, squinting and straining their ears. It's like they can hear us, she continued, her stomach lurching. Not possible, replied Wade. We've still got enough dream crystal for at least 5 minutes more of cloaking. Right, Silas? Silas nodded, then looked down at the timer on his wrist, and his mouth hung open. What? He muttered, tapping at the timer frantically. That can't be right. We've only got 5 seconds of cloaking left. As Silas spoke, it became obvious that the Heebie-Jeebies could now both see and hear them. There was a low, throaty growl. Then, with a furious roar of Heebie-Jeebie, they sprang forwards. But what happened? Asked Erica. How did we run out of time so quickly? Then she saw something that made her stomach stop lurching, and instead it solidified into a cold, hard fury. Beastling was standing right behind Silas, popping the last tiny grain of dream crystal into his mouth. A fluorescent glow glimmered around his lips. How could you? She yelled at Beastling. You stupid furry fuzzball! You ate all our supplies! Heebie-Jeebie, he whimpered apologetically, but there was no time to see what was in the speech bubble he made. Half a second later, the dream team were buried beneath a mass of furious Heebie-Jeebies.